So hi everybody, and thank you for joining us to listen to another interview. So today we have got Paul Dermody from Dermody Owen Associates. So thank you very much, Paul, for joining me to chat about your property business and what you do in property, because obviously you are a Landlord Smart customer. You've used us as well. So let's start out by explaining sort of what you do and where is your property based, or is it a wide across the UK, or is it a specific area?
Hi, Tracy. Predominantly around the East Midlands, but we do also invest in South Yorkshire. I'm based in Nottingham, so that tends to be the centre of where we're looking to invest. But I'm originally from Manchester, so we do also have a few property interests over in the northwest as well.
Right, okay, so a few different areas. And what sort of strategies are you doing? Are you doing an array of strategies, or just one? Or give us a bit more info about your journey.
Sure. Well, I sold another business in a different sector around 6 years ago, and moved into looking at property to invest some of the sale proceeds of that business, and enjoyed doing that so much, I decided to set up a property investment business. And that was nearly 4 years ago. We started with vanilla buy-to-lets. We then expanded into HMOs. And now we also develop commercial property and convert commercial buildings into apartments.
Right, so you've actually had in quite a short time frame, really, when you look at that. 4 years isn't very long to have gone from, the bottom where most people start with the buy-to-lets, and then gradually building it up into development world as well. So well done you. It sounds amazing.
Very lucky, really. I was in a position where we had a little bit of capital to start with and a lot of time on my hands. And a lot of what we've done is with joint venturing with other people. So that's really helped us get up to speed quickly and work with experienced people.
So when you say joint ventures, have you got people working with you that have a different set of experience, but also from a financial aspect as well, supporting you? Or what sort of JVs have you done?
It's exactly that mix. So joint ventures with people with a lot more experience in property investing, a lot more experience on the building construction and project management side of things, which helped me greatly. And also joint ventures with people that want to invest funds in property.
Interesting. So what's the plan going forward then? I mean, you've obviously got stuck into the property investing world, and I expect that keeps you busy quite a bit of your time. But what's the plan? Are you planning to expand, or what do you think your focus is going to be going forward?
Yeah, very much so. Expansion is at the core of what we're trying to do. So we want to add more HMOs to the portfolio, and we want to find more commercial buildings that we can convert into apartments. There's a number of different things that we want to do with those end products. So some we will flip, but the vast majority we want to retain. And we'd also like to work with more social housing charities, assisted living and supported living, and develop apartments to order for those organisations as well.
That's definitely becoming quite a big thing at the moment, isn't it? The social housing, actually supported living, as you say, a massive area. And I think we're seeing across the UK a lot more of the development type of opportunities, taking the commercial, converted into those apartments specifically for that area, because the situation for that clientele is just going to get worse as we go on year after year. So I think it's a great market to actually get involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
Yeah, definitely so. So within the last sort of 18 months or so, obviously we've been through quite a horrendous time for everybody. It doesn't matter what you were doing, it's not been a great time. What impact has COVID had on your property business? Did it affect it? Did you continue to muddle through, or what happened?
Well, we count ourselves quite lucky that we weren't too badly affected in the horrible 18 months that we've had. We tried to keep going. I would say that in the main, there was very few complete shutdowns that we had. It was just everything's moved at a much slower pace.
Right.
So the development of projects in terms of the build has been slower, but even the conveyancing process has been much slower as well. And the biggest frustration has been planning. Planning seems to have ground to the slowest pace that I could imagine. We've got one commercial building we bought in June of last year, and we're still waiting on planning. It's going to a committee at the end of October. So that will
Wow.
be 15, 16 months before we get final planning for that project at least.
So that really does have a hit on, I suppose, the pipeline of what you're going to be doing, and waiting on people like that. It's interesting because across these interviews that I've been doing, I've had, very often people saying very similar things to what you've just said about the supply chain, the contractors, the trades, etc., as well as the authorities that we need to get involved, all seem to have slowed down. And I don't know if that is, well, it is a result of COVID and everything that we've been through. And, maybe people, they still haven't brought everybody back. People have been on furlough because the work hasn't been there, or it's but also the price of materials as well, because we're struggling with getting hold of materials, aren't we, at the moment too? So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not only obviously the price can dramatically affect a project's bottom line, but it's the time, it's the delivery time, it's manufacture of windows, obviously the timber problem that everybody has. And in the early parts of lockdown, as everybody knows, getting hold of plaster was particularly difficult.
yeah.
So all of those things have slowed projects down, and it's meant we've got to plan in a slightly different way. So we're adding extra lengths onto how long a project might take, and obviously we're putting extra contingencies in because of the price problems as well.
Well, that makes total sense. So with your HMOs that you have, were they affected, i.e. the tenants, were they affected by COVID?
We were very fortunate that no, we weren't affected, and so we were very lucky in that respect. Some of it was timing. One of our properties that was a student property, the students actually chose in that instance to stay living in that property in Nottingham, and not many of them went home during the lockdown. In a professional HMO, we were going through a refurb at the time, so the property was empty during the lockdown period. So we were very fortunate with the timing. So
Yeah.
from our point of view, our HMO business was quite lucky.
That's good to know. I mean, there are a lot of people that have been affected with tenants struggling to pay, and it's been a very interesting time, to say the least, hasn't it, over the last 18 months for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Paul, you obviously did use Landlord Smart, and I'm presuming it was a HMO. Have you done a couple of deals with us?
Just the one to date. It was a large 7-bedroom HMO and 1-bedroom flat.
Right.
And it was an obvious thing to do from a cash flow perspective for that particular property that we'd refurbished top to bottom and needed to completely kit out.
Okay. So how did you actually find out about Landlord Smart? Was it within the property network that you found out about us, or?
It was. I'd seen a number of presentations that
Right.
you'd done at different property meetings over the last few years. So I kind of already knew about it in the back of my mind. And it was just a case of when it was a suitable or appropriate project to sort of get in touch.
Yeah, definitely. So which supplier did you choose? Or did you choose your supplier before you came to us, or did you ask for our help on suppliers?
It was very much based on the lists that Landlord Smart provided us. We went
Right.
through that list. We then looked at the suppliers' websites
Yeah.
and looked at which products fitted the design of the building that we wanted to create. We were working with an interior designer, and
Okay.
the interior designer was very much involved in looking through the websites and helping us make that decision of which suppliers to use.
Yeah, because it is very important, isn't it, that the look and finish of those projects is actually aimed at the people you're aiming it at. So, I mean, you mentioned that you'd got both student and professional HMOs,
Yeah.
and I presume going forward with the market sectors that you're going to be looking at, the social housing, etc., they will be, furnished accommodation as well.
It's going to be a mix. So yeah, we're going to have a number of furnished accommodation properties in the portfolio as we expand, very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to you coming back and using this a little bit more as you go on this expansion. It sounds really, really exciting.
Thank you.
Really exciting. So you mentioned Nottingham. Is your business primarily in Nottingham, or where are there other areas that?
Yeah, Nottingham's where I'm based. So I made the decision that I wanted to initially at least start looking locally in an area that I knew.
Right.
But we have expanded up from Nottingham through North Nottinghamshire and into South Yorkshire. And as I say, because I'm originally from Manchester and have
Yes.
family there and know that area well, there's a few projects over in the Northwest as well.
So are with regard to the HMO market in Nottingham, is that an Article 4 area, or
It is,
so
yeah, very
how
much
have you
so. And
found that?
it's quite a stringently enforced Article 4 area
Yeah.
as well. From our perspective, there are parts of Nottinghamshire outside of the city that are not Article 4 as yet.
Right.
So we look in those areas. Within Article 4, it's really been a case of trying to find the very old and the very rundown HMOs that already have the grandparent rights, the grandfather rights, or
Yes.
planning permission, and have been in place for over 4 years with good ASTs
Yeah.
that we can get the certificate of lawfulness on. And that's what we look for when we're looking within that Article 4 area, a certificate of lawfulness or planning for those properties.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously, lots of people may be looking to get into HMOs, and Article 4 is something that people need to understand, don't they, to ensure that they don't just go and buy something and want to convert it, because the likelihood is they won't be allowed to convert it if it's in specific areas. So do you get involved in, do people come and talk to you because of your experience in property and you help them? Or, I mean, obviously you're looking for any JVs and that sort of thing, people working with you, but do you get people approach you and ask for your advice?
Very much so. I think probably because I look old as well. People see that as a sign of experience, even though I'm relatively inexperienced in property. I've run my own businesses for 20 years. And I like networking. So I go to a lot of business networking events, not just property networking events, but an array of things. And so that has led to lots of discussions. I do a lot of posting on social media, and that's led to a lot of contact with people as well. So yeah, we regularly have discussions. More than happy to share our experiences with other people. A colleague yesterday invited me to see one of their HMOs just as they're putting the finishing touches to it here in Nottingham. It was great to walk around their building, ask them lots of questions, get under the skin of what they've done and why they've done it. And I did a little social media post about it yesterday as well. So that kind of thing happens a lot. Later this afternoon, somebody's just dropped me a message on Instagram, wanted to catch up and ask a bit of advice about something that they're looking through, and we'll discuss that problem and see if we can help.
Well, it's definitely the world of property is one of those sectors where you find that everybody is so helpful, and I think that's really nice. And actually, it enables you to move forward a lot quicker, doesn't it? Because you're building those joint ventures and relationships of. It's a world of, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah,
definitely so.
More about people than it is about bricks and mortar.
Very much so. I would totally agree. Well, I'm sure that anybody that listens to this will be quite impressed by what you've done in quite a short time frame, really, to have moved forward. And you are definitely evidence of what you've just said. This is a people game, and talking to people, getting to know people, working together as opposed to just trying to do it all on your own is definitely something to take on board, I think, for anybody looking to get into property. Absolutely. And we'll definitely look forward to having a lot more business with you, Paul, because as you expand this, it might take a bit longer because of everything that's been going on, but it will be good to have you back. Contact us and get some other projects up and running, helping a lot more people. So thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely to speak to you.
You're welcome.
And we'll put this all out on social media with all your contact details. So if anybody does want to contact you, then they can do, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks very much, Paul. Speak again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.